Okay, guys, here we go.
Success!
We're lo-fiing it today with the iPhone. All right, here we go. We're gonna just get connected.
Thank you so much for your patience.
Don't mind my large hand in the camera here. Hold on. All right,
For
there we go.
anybody that chimed in a little earlier and saw
Yes,
that we were
we're trusting you. Okay.
interrupted, we're back!
Yay! All right, here we go, guys.
Oh, that was a little...
Now it feels so far away because
I
my
know.
phone looks so tiny. All right, we have a couple people that were trying to join earlier, so we're gonna give everyone a second to hopefully find us on the new video because they might be looking at the old one. Hold on. Hey. Put on a mask to give yourself a fun look. Yeah, no.
No. Only if it's like a Darth Vader mask,
Yeah,
maybe. Be like,
do
oh.
that.
Anyways, really quickly before we kind of get started, because we don't have we're not doing this for an hour. I just wanted to let everybody know, we're not professionals. We're certainly not licensed sexual counselors or anything
Not
of
even
that
close.
nature. But we're just trying to be real and honest and share with you some questions that people gave to us, in addition to some questions that we kind of presented to each other, and
Just our own opinion.
Own
and
opinion and experience and what works and what doesn't work, and hopefully somebody can relate to our experiences and we can all learn from each other. So we will, I have no idea what's happening. We will get started.
All right, very cool. Who's going first?
No.
Get yourself a cup of coffee if you haven't yet. We won't take too much of your time. We're thinking maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll see how this goes. So we're so excited. You guys came up with some
This
really
is
good questions.
Our fun little
grab bag.
box of goodies. Okay. Fun one. So how do you get creative when you and your partner have different schedules? So this came from one of my girlfriends. If you're watching, I think you know who you are. I know for me, and I don't know, I mean, I know you probably could.
I'm I need help with this
You
one.
could probably answer this one better than I could because, Ryan and I have sort of similar schedules, but I know that you definitely have busy schedules too. So I don't know. Do you want to take this one first?
You want me to take this one first?
I don't mind answering some
All
of
right.
it too. But
I almost feel this reminds me I have friends who maybe one person works the day shift and one person works the night shift because they're both nurses and they've gone through that whole thing. So I wish that we could have them here to answer something like that.
Right.
I mean, with my husband and I, we have different schedules in the sense that he's just working a lot and I'm with the kids. So how do you get creative when you and your partner have different schedules?
If my girlfriend doesn't mind, I'm actually going to chime in and just can I give what she recommended too?
Yes, I mean please do, because I hadn't even seen that question, so that's a new one.
I'm not going to say what he does for work, but she definitely said that there's a person that is likes unusual sex and somebody likes usual sex. So what she recommended was if your partner is working night shifts and your day shift as a mom with your kid, that when your partner comes home that you kind of have to make that effort to go, okay, let's do this, but let's get creative with it. So whether that means let's run to the bathroom and have a quickie on the sink so that we don't wake up the kids sleeping next to us in the middle of the night, or we go have a drink outside in a backyard and get creative there, then it kind of allows that spontaneity and excitement to still stay alive, and you're kind of working together with the schedule. So that's what I would recommend. I mean, again,
That's what she recommends.
That's what she recommends, so
Yeah.
I think we're going to stick with that.
All right,
round two.
Here we go. What is your preferred time to try and be intimate? Here we go here. Shower, middle of the night, etc. I gotta be honest, I really liked it when my husband was working from home because I tended to be way more excited about getting intimate in the afternoon or maybe even in the morning at night. I'm so tired. I'm just it's the last thing I want to do.
I am a middle of the night girl. I don't know if anybody can relate to me, but especially when it's raining.
Your guard is down?
Lately, no, it's just the house is quiet.
No, I mean middle of the night, your guard is down, you're just your mind isn't thinking.
Yeah, I'm a huge advocate of sort of that middle of the night. And I don't know if maybe it's because they're so calm and still that it's oh my gosh, you're really sexy right now. That I'm let's have some fun. Nobody's in the room, the kids are asleep. But then ultimately you go into that, okay, but we do only have 10 minutes because we know one of the kids is gonna wake up. So I'm voting middle of the night. She might be a daytime girl, but I think middle of the night works, especially if you're parents and you've got really tight schedules and you have short windows. So
nice.
That's my vote.
All right.
All right. On to 3. This is a fun one. How does porn affect your relationship? Do you partake? And if so, do you partake alone or with your spouse? You want me to answer this?
I mean, we can both talk
I know
on it.
A lot of people that. Well, first of all, let me preface what I'm about to say with this. There is I think a fine line with porn. I think sometimes it can get a little bit out of hand, and I think there are some relationships that have certainly suffered from that. So I want to at least put my respect out to the family or to the couples that have sort of experienced that, because it is hard and you don't ever want something to like ruin your relationship. But there are benefits to porn. So
like, oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. So you can learn a lot. And the other thing is, you know, there is a reason why there's an industry out there surrounding sex. It does get people going, and I'm sure even for the women that got on the Grey's Anatomy kit, or not Grey's Anatomy, good Lord. What's that? 50 Shades of Grey. Grey,
sorry,
whatever.
Grey's Anatomy. We've never seen porn on
I've never seen porn on your show. Maybe a little, what is that, Dr. McDreamy. But anyways, it's like, it does something to a relationship when a woman gets excited to try something new. So I'm all for it, whether you're alone or you're with your partner. I think as long as you're doing it within a safe space, by all means, indulge.
I'll speak on it from a whole nother side of growing up thinking that it was terribly wrong. Never even thought that there could be any positive thing in it. I just was always taught that it was wrong and negative and that whole thing. So I remember, my husband's probably going to kill me, but I remember us being in a hotel and going, let's watch one together. Like, let's just try it together, right? And it's like the whole, like, you're buying it from a hotel. We're like, but people are going to be judging us. They're going to see our bill when we check out. And we literally went back and forth on this for the longest time. And we never ended up buying the video because we just like were thinking way too much about it, and it kind of killed it. So yeah, maybe one of these days. But I know that it has not really been like a part of our relationship, not something that we've explored. So
Right.
just kind of coming at it from a completely different
So
side.
both sides.
Both sides.
It works. All right. Yeah.
You'll see a lot of that here. Okay. I'm gonna have to look to Giselle on this one because I feel like this is something I need help with. This is I actually wrote this question. How do you keep the excitement and adventure alive after kids so that you don't get bored? Because I think that that's something that I've personally struggled with. Like I liked the idea of like kind of, you know, being spontaneous and doing stuff in different places and everything like that. And now it's like same time, same place, same everything. And so I know this is something that I relate to currently as far as kind of struggling with. So maybe you can help if you have some suggestions.
So I think for me at least, I think that, and this again, this is just my own like personal perspective and opinion on my role in my sexual relationship, is I like to tease, and I'm not talking in terms of foreplay. I think I know that if I'm trying to get some excitement going for the evening time, I will purposefully wear just a shirt and maybe some really cute undergarments and be like, oh, I forgot, I'm going to go put on some pants and just kind of strut about and just, you know, I'm in a home with my kids, nobody's watching. And I think that it kind of keeps that energetic excitement alive between, you know, my partner and I. And in terms of like the adventurous side, I think that any time that you can get adventurous, whether it's, hey, we're on a date night, let's park somewhere, or hey, the kids are asleep, let's go to this room. And believe me, I've done the twin bed sex because that was the only bed in the house. Absolutely. But I think that
ours would be crib.
Yeah, that you could like lean over it. But I think that you know, men like to watch their woman, you know, feel a little bit sexy and confident sometimes, even though half the time I'm feeling really insecure. I'm doing it because I want excitement in my relationship. So don't be afraid to strut about and rock that, you know, bit of confidence, because it will pay off, I promise. So that's that pitch. Next one. Oh, well, this kind of goes hand in hand with the last question. Do you feel that foreplay is an important part of your sexual relationship? Blowjobs, down under, etc.
I'm gonna start with this one because I was talking to my friend about this yesterday, and guys, I have to be honest, like my idea of foreplay these days is my husband bathing the kids. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I hate bath time. So when he's like, honey, I'll bathe the kids, I'm like, you are so hot right now. I can't even tell you, way more than any of this other stuff.
Yeah.
He would probably disagree because me doing the dishes is not exciting
no.
to him. But for me.
Yeah, I think that, again, like, and I think it depends on the type of relationship that you have in terms of the length of it. Do you have kids? Like, all of the environmental circumstances also. I mean, like, do you have space to go and have the time to have sex? I think that foreplay is important as long as you and your partner are exchanging what your preferred needs and desires are, because I'm also going to be honest, there's some foreplayers out there that shouldn't be foreplaying. Like, it's just maybe not their thing. So make sure that you're explaining what you like if you are going to prioritize foreplay. And as a woman, I know I got to give it back. I'm not a huge fan, but I'll manage. And I think a lot of women out there will agree and some won't agree, because I have some friends that are like,
I think it depends on the time. Like
yeah,
you were saying, like before kids, when you have like all the time in the world,
it's
and
fun.
Whatever, it's fun. It's fun to just lay in bed for like
beginning
an hour.
a relationship.
That's
oh my
great.
gosh!
Yeah,
like
so
it's like anytime. Let's do this.
Early marriage, yes.
Things
but
change.
I think when time is of, the issue lately, it's like
So we work with it.
All right.
But yeah, you should prioritize it because it ties back with excitement. You're up.
Okay. How many times per week do you think is healthy for your relationship, considering the length of relationship, whether or not you have kids, etc.? So, by the way, I think, hi Mandy. Mandy's on. She says hi.
Hi!
We're not able to see people's comments, unfortunately, because you're so far away because of us having to do the phone and it's so tiny. So I'm sorry, we're not ignoring you. We'll try to take a look at some of these later and see. But hi, Mandy. So how many times per week do you think is healthy for your relationship, considering length of relationship, kids, etc.? Guys, I gotta be honest. I'd be good with like once a week at this point.
I was gonna say maybe we should have changed the word week to like month even, because I think there are a lot of couples who are like, dude, we're in a dry spell, and that's okay. Like I think we need to also be sensitive to that there are some couples who just
been there
have like a dry spell. And a friend who also sent out a response to us, said that there are seasons in your sexual relationship, that sometimes it's like the summer and it's hot and steamy and you want it all the time, and then it's winter and it's a cold and dry sort of spell. So I think whatever works for you, as long as you're doing it. Again, try to find time to do it. Try to prioritize it. Talk to your partner. Make sure you're just making that time to commit to each other, because it is good for your mental health and obviously physical health. So I would vote if I had
some of the stuff that Giselle posted about kind of all the health benefits and everything. I thought that was really interesting. I know I didn't know a lot of that stuff. So.
Yeah, if I had to vote, I would probably say like 2 to 3 times per week would probably be healthy, but I'm not even partaking in that right now because it's just like my kids don't let me. I'll be honest.
And I think more important than maybe even, having sex once a week or 2 or 3 times a week is just that connecting too, like having that time to actually connect, whether it's, cuddling or a date night or something. I feel like that's kind of, with having 2 little kids, that's where we're at right now, is trying to learn how to reconnect. Like now that the kids are getting a little bit older and a little bit less dependent on us 24/7, what are ways that we can start just connecting again?
Right. So. That actually ties really good into our next one. How do you stay intimate when co-sleeping with a little one? So I know I'm not going to say, well, I can't even say it because it'll just put it out there, a very close person to me. And I talk a lot about how it's funny when you're doing like the rocking the bassinet thing while you're trying to stay intimate, because God knows if you don't just get it done in that moment, that baby's going to need a boob or that baby's going to need to get up. So again, you do what works for you, but I think that it's important that you're doing it, making time for yourself, while obviously being considerate of the little one and the little one's age. And if they're, I mean, I know for me, I even moved the crib mattress at the foot of my bed because I didn't want my baby away from me, but I also wanted my space back with my partner, and that actually really worked out quite well. Some people are putting playpens in.
Yeah, and I feel like that's where we're personally at right now too. Again, is having a little one who's in our bed,
right,
and getting to the place where like, okay, we're so over this. It's transition time, right. So trying to get them out. He is quite a bit older though, so it's time. But yeah, I think with the little ones, yes, doing the playpen, the mattress,
anything that allows you to still feel comfortable with them being in your space while you're still creating a space for you and your partner, I think is key. Smart. Okay, on to the next.
My next.
We hope you guys are enjoying this, by the way.
All right. Do you think there is a time to make love and a time to bleep?
Bleep. Absolutely.
I have to say yes. Again, I think it kind of almost goes back to the time too,
right.
Like the time issue of I think sometimes.
Hi, little one. I made you while probably bleeping.
I think that might be my favorite moment of the day, though.
I for sure. And I think going back to like the middle of the night, it's fun because then you feel like, and maybe it's because you feel like your guard's down, you're just more relaxed, and it's like just have fun. And obviously, there's a time to make love. I mean, if you have a really special date night, I think you gotta feel the vibe and roll with the vibe for sure. So this is a really important one to me because I've struggled with this. How does your level of self-care and self-image relate to your sex life? So I'll start and then we can roll with you. I know that for me, I've always sort of had like image issues. I think growing up, I was just, I don't know, it was embedded in my head that we had to always, be this or be that. And unfortunately, it rolled over into my relationship life and how I carried myself, took care of myself. I've always tried to take care of myself, but after you've had a baby, things definitely change. So for me, it's like if I feel sexy, then I'm more inclined to be sexy with my partner. So I think one of the most important things is realize that love yourself first and foremost. And, shaving is not at the top of our lists, obviously, because we're more concerned with feeding our children and changing diapers and keeping our homes clean. But make that time for yourself. Make that time to take care of your self-image.
Hi, Laura.
Go get a massage. Do something that makes you feel good about the woman that you are and the partner that you are in your relationship. And it will absolutely roll over into your sexual relationship because when you're sexy and you feel sexy, it exudes and your partner can see it. So I got some work to do on that for sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely have work to do in here. I'm the same way. In the sense that if I don't feel good about myself, I have a hard time being like, let's do this. So yes, back in the day where you could spend 3 hours shaving and waxing and doing your hair and doing your makeup and everything. Yeah, it felt hot, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That was much easier to, be like, yeah, let's do this.
Right,
so,
right.
Nowadays, I'm learning to get past that. I am still learning. And I mean, my husband doesn't care. I'm sure he cares a little bit, but he's always like, I don't care. I don't care. And I'm like, yeah, but I do. I have to feel good about myself in order to let my guard down and be intimate and be in that place. So.
Nobody wants to do foreplay with hairy legs, guys. Okay? I mean, I've believe me, I'm like, dude, no not happening. That needs to go before anything happens. So
yes. So I think self-care. I think that's huge. I think when that is at a 10, then
and talk to your partner about it because I think that can also help. If you're feeling insecure, if you're feeling like there's not enough self-love, talk to your partner about it because believe it or not, they're your biggest cheerleader in all of it. On to the next.
Do you feel that sex in the media impacts your views on what sex should be like in a relationship? What are the most real examples you've seen in or on TV movies? So
50 Shades of Grey.
What's that?
50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, not so much.
Yeah.
Yes, I absolutely feel like it impacts your views. I mean, just you know, you see these people obviously wake up in bed and they have a full, you know, face of makeup on and everything like that. I personally love shows like Parenthood. I think Parenthood was one of the first kind of real examples that I remember seeing, at least more recently, of kind of, you know, what sex and marriage is like with kids.
Right.
And it kind of makes you feel a little bit better, like, oh, okay, so this is normal. I think that part of the problem is that just our society in general tends to look up to the media and put the, you know, actors and actresses and movies and TV and all that on a pedestal just to begin with. And so that's, I think, part of the issue in general, when we shouldn't even be.
And especially with, I mean, I have 3 girls, so I really don't want my daughters trying to aspire to become like some of the images we're currently seeing in social media. Yeah. You know, I want them to grow up to feel like strong women where they're comfortable and confident in their own skin. I actually watched a movie last night called I Miss You Already. I don't know, it's a great movie, but anyways, long story short, it's with Drew Barrymore and this other beautiful actress, and they're best friends, and she gets cancer. And anyways, and the relationship between her and her husband becomes so intimate even after she's had a double mastectomy, and it is just so raw and so real that that's like the most recent, you know, like movie I've seen where I just felt very like, wow, that's real life, man. So social media is, unfortunately, I think it's tainted, you know, the perspective and image on sex. So teach your kids right. Don't think that you need to try and become what you see on TV, because you won't. Yeah, it's not worth it. Do you ever hold sex hostage from your partner because you're upset? Yeah.
Guilty.
Absolutely. I've totally done that whole like flip over, pretend that I'm asleep. And then you get like a little tap on your shoulder and you're like, what? I'm sleeping. And it's such BS. It's not even cool. It's not right. I need to work on that. Because do they do it? Do men hold it hostage? I don't think they do. I think this is like an us only
I don't
thing.
think so. No, I'm trying to think. I don't think that's something my husband has done or would
so
ever do.
Maybe instead of holding it hostage, maybe talk about why you're trying to hold it hostage and communicate and get past that, and then you can have some really awesome makeup sex. That's what I would suggest. This is like, because I'm so stubborn, this totally applies to me.
Yeah. Okay.
We got like, what is that, 5 minutes left?
Yep. Looks like it. All right. Here we go. I love this one. How do you feel your upbringing, your family dynamics, religion, culture, etc., has affected your view on sex?
It's dirty.
So, for me, I this is no offense to my parents, in case you're watching. Mom, hi, I love you. But I was raised in a non-denominational Christian household. It was very much the whole wait until you're married to have sex. I grew up with a lot of friends older than me that were actually getting married pretty young just because they wanted to have sex. And that didn't work out so well. So I actually know several of them that, you know, were divorced. Some of them still together, and that's awesome. But I think that one of the biggest things that it did for me, I wore the purity ring, I mean, all of that. And I thought it was, you know, in like the concept of it, I thought was amazing. I thought it was a beautiful thing. And when you think about how hurtful it is to sometimes hear about, like, you know, past relationships that your partners have been in and stuff like that, you think, oh, well, if it had just been, you know, me, like, think about how you wouldn't really even have any of that, you know, history and everything. But I think one of the biggest things that it personally did for me, that I have struggled with most of my life, is that it made me feel like it was wrong. It made me feel like it was bad and dirty, and like having these feelings or these needs were wrong or bad.
And I don't know if that's like a generational thing too, because like even with my upbringing, I think my sister could totally like chime in on this one, but like I think she even wore a promise ring, and I don't know why I didn't get one. Now that I think about it, I don't think I got promise rings. Like, there's no hope for her. We're just gonna focus on her sister. But, you know, my sister and I have talked about this a lot where, you know, growing up, like, we were told that sex. And I love you, Mom and Dad, and you guys are total polar opposites, which is so weird. But, you know, I have my mother that taught us, you know, sex is very sacred, and it is still sacred. I just want to put that out there. Sex is definitely sacred, but to shame it and make it feel like it's a dirty act, when in actuality it's an act of love and an act of showing that you respect your body and you're willing to share it with somebody, that, you know, it was hard to like get past that I think I probably went the polar opposite end, where I was like, I'm going to try and indulge a little bit and find out what I like about it. And my father, you know, love you, Dad, but I was like, Dad, really, the porn is still in the VCR player. I mean, goodness. So I'm kind of glad I was exposed to both, but it definitely impacted my view on sex, especially my relationship. And I'm sure it's going to impact how I choose to explain all of it to my kids, because I don't want them to feel like it's something dirty. We need to teach that it's a form of love and an expression of it. So yeah, but it can definitely screw you up. Did for a little while with me.
I don't know if there was anything else on that one.
How do you feel about having your breasts touched during sex when you're breastfeeding? Obviously not simultaneously. We would really hope
not going there.
You're not doing that. I know for me, I can't do it. I'm like, just leave a bra on or something, or just stay in the back. Stay behind me or something, because I don't want to
stay in the back.
Stay in the back. For me, it was like, that's my child's like food, and I don't know, I don't know.
That makes me feel better, because I'm the same.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like, I have a really hard time, and I think at the same time though, that's such a huge part of like me being able to get like sexually excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really
that's like a huge thing for me. And so I remember even when Zach was nursing initially, and like I lost feeling, like, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm never gonna enjoy sex again. I have no feeling in my
And I know some of you out there, again, hint hint, hermana, I'm not gonna say your name, but like some people have really overly sensitive nipples. I'm like, dude, I wish I had that, because I certainly don't. And all I remember is being like, please don't start playing with them, because you're just gonna get a mouthful of milk and it's gonna freak me out, and then it's just gonna stop and everything's gonna go down and it's gonna be devastating. So I think do what works for you, but for me,
absolutely do what works for you. But yeah,
if there are any men watching this, I would just steer clear, maybe,
or ask,
absolutely ask.
So I had no problem telling my husband, no, I can't handle that.
I didn't either. I just redirected him.
Hold on, there's something I'm trying to read. I absolutely love what you guys are doing. Hi, Brandy.
Hello. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Brandy. Sorry, it's so far away. We have to get closer to read.
Okay, so this kind of goes back to our upbringing, I think, too. So when did you, if at all, talk about sex with your parents? Or did they talk about it with you? When do you think is the right time to talk about it with your kids? Nobody had the talk with me. I think I learned about it from my dad's porn videos. I'm not kidding.
So much.
I'm like, really? That's what I'm supposed to be doing? Granted, I didn't have sex for a long time after that, but no, I think it was sex ed in school. Like, my parents never had the conversation.
We listened to Dr. James Dobson in 5th grade, and he spoke about puberty. He literally said puberty.
Oh my.
I remember that very clearly. So I remember having like kind of a general like birds and the bees discussion then. I remember being in high school. Yes, guys, I wasn't in high school when I actually heard this for the first time, and saw the kids drawing 69 on their notebooks.
Oh, wow. Wasn't that funny when, like, if anybody tries to 69 you now, you're like, really? How old are you? Yeah. I mean, no offense to anybody that does it. I'm not opposed to it, but I think
it was maybe like 8th or 9th grade, and I have to share the story just because it's so funny, even though I would probably mortify my dad if he ever saw this. So I, for whatever reason, not just being totally innocent, asked my dad, and he was so caught off guard, and he didn't know what to do, and my mom wasn't there. No, he didn't choke on anything. Guys, he drew me a picture, literally like stick figures, like sketched out, and I'm like, okay, that's good. Enough said. We're done with this conversation.
Gosh, that's awesome.
So I do remember
Good
that.
job, Dad. I love that.
I think one of the most awesome conversations I remember having with, with a parent, as far as that's concerned, is I remember talking to my mom when I was probably 15 or 16, and telling her that I was struggling with the whole, waiting until you're married to have sex thing and everything like that. And I learned that she didn't. And for me, you guys, that was just like a huge weight off my shoulders of like, I don't have to be perfect. I'm not going to force it. But if, you know, if it happens, it happens. I'm not going to hell. That was kind of like, for me, like a really pivotal moment. And the first time I remember really talking to my mom, we got into a more, you know, in-depth conversation, and we were able to actually talk more like adults about it at that point in time.
I definitely plan to talk to my girls about it, because they
the second part of the question.
Yeah, they know that, like, so they know Daddy has a banana and Mommy has a hoo-ha, and you know,
we just call it penis.
I call it that only because, really quick story, Frankie one time saw, you know, Ryan in the morning and was hungry on steroids, and he'd just woken up and he was in his boxers, and she was like, "Hey, where'd you get that banana?" So from that moment on, we've referred to his junk as his banana. God. It works. He's the only man in the house. I'm not kidding. So, like, I definitely plan to explain to them, like, what these things do and the purpose that they serve and how we created these beautiful girls. And but I think I'm gonna wait a little bit. But I'm not shying away from it. Like, I think it's important we just expose them to it in its natural form, as opposed to, like, just hiding it or going, okay, now we have to have this talk. Like, just let it organically and naturally sort of happen, and most kids will ask.
And I'm a little bit nervous because I think, you know, with having two boys, I think that they start getting there a little bit quicker than the girls.
Yeah, I think so.
And my almost 5-year-old has been, you know, experimenting with himself a lot and already asking questions about why it gets hard and, you know,
Jen,
what's that for?
I have a robot. Remember that one?
So yeah, I mean, as far as my response to that question, I feel like it's just important for us to be aware. I mean, we know our children, and being in tune with that as stuff starts to come up, making it a safe place to talk about and to ask those questions, I think for me is number one priority as far as it relates to that.
Right.
So,
okay, so we have...
Are we out of time?
I want to do one more question, and I'm actually just going to pick it if you don't care.
Because you want one in particular that we didn't get to yet?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, this might be the best one. Hold on. Do you think it's about to share person? We kind of touched on that one. Okay. Really quickly, do you think it's important to take care of yourself? Absolutely. If you need a moment alone, find a bathroom or a bed. But this is the one I really want to talk about. I think this really, we can let's round it up with this. Let's talk about post-baby sex. And one of my other really dear friends, a couple of them actually asked about this one.
Yeah, I had a couple of people ask the same thing too.
It's about, things change, and if, do you guys feel like you're having to learn about your body all over again? And I think for Jess and I had 3 C-sections. I tried the home birth, didn't work. She had two natural, right?
Births, yeah.
So, I can quickly chime that. It took a lot for me to, well, first of all, any woman that's had a C-section, I'm sure you can relate, it takes time for your body to heal, and being the control type A freak that I am, I wanted to heal fast. I wanted to get up, I wanted to do, I wanted to get back to sex, I wanted to get my body back in shape. And the first 2 rounds, I remember my sister being like, Giselle, you need to let your body heal. Like, it's so important. You spent so much time growing a baby. You're not going to bounce back so quickly. You had a C-section. You literally had a major surgery, that it's important that we allow ourselves that time to heal and recover, because not only does it affect you physically, but mentally, you're screwed, like, for a while. Especially being laid out on a table, being cut open, like, it'll do a number on you. So give yourself time, love yourself, ask for help as much as you possibly can to help you recover. And if you're having issues with, sex after having a C-section, talk to your partner about it, talk to your midwife, talk to your doctor, whomever, helped you. Luckily, I was blessed with a midwife, my sister, and a doctor, but give yourself time. That's the one thing that I would highly recommend, and talk about it with your partner and do what works for you, and make sure you're not hurting yourself, and be comfortable in your own skin. So totally different.
So yeah, I'll talk about it from, having a vaginal birth, and the first time had a little bit of tearing, not anything totally severe or anything like that. And then the second time had just some other issues where it wasn't quite like a prolapse thing, but kind of felt like stuff was falling out, not gonna lie. Jen, if you're watching,
I'm sure you understand.
Might be watching. She knows. I had to look down there, guys, with a mirror for some reason not too long after my second, and I literally wanted to cry. I'm like, what is that? Like, I didn't even recognize it. So I think for me, one of the biggest things about the post-baby sex has been, I feel so self-conscious because I'm like, it's so different than it was before. And I do feel like I'm having to learn my body over again because things that were sensitive before are not, and things that weren't are, and things are in kind of a different place, and
or
being
things
sewn
are numb.
back together, and now there's things that are there that weren't there before. So yeah, certain things that are numb. And it definitely took a long time, just in general, for feeling to come back at all, period, down there. So yeah, it took me a long time to feel more confident, and I think that's the biggest thing, is feeling kind of self-conscious about that. So
yeah, I mean, and I think I didn't have a vaginal birth. I certainly wanted to, but I'm grateful that my births happened the way that they did because my children are here and safe. But like, even going back to like right before having the baby, I remember being like, what is my skin doing down there? This is not pretty. That I can only imagine like having a vaginal birth. I watched my sister have her beautiful Esme, and I was so blessed and grateful to be a part of that. But I remember going like, holy cow, this is some serious stuff happening down there. Our bodies are amazing and pretty powerful vessels to create this journey for this little baby to come through. That, respect your body. Remember, it's a sacred temple, and give yourself time. And going back to the self-image thing, like, as soon as you can shave and make yourself feel pretty again, try it, because I think that will just lead into maybe sex with your partner, a little bit more feeling of love and intimacy, and get you back on track as soon as you'd like. So I guess with that, we're gonna close it up. We're so grateful for everybody that chimed in. We'll be sharing the video throughout the week too. We have some other live feed that we're intending to do down the road. I think we were talking about doing we
have a new product that we're getting ready to launch in about a month. So we're going to be bringing you guys in kind of behind the scenes as we get ready to do that, taking you to meet some of the people that are all kind of coming together for that and stuff. And if you did like this, if you have additional questions that you want to post below, you can. I believe you can comment. We've talked about maybe doing a second round of this because we had quite a few questions and we didn't want to keep you guys, too long. So
we ended up going longer than we intended, but
but thank you so much for being with us on this Saturday morning, or whenever you view the video. We appreciate it.
And again, talk about sex, do it, enjoy it, indulge.
All right, see you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.